Welcome to the New York City Public Schools Teacher Hiring Trends presentation. If everybody can hear me and see the PowerPoint, can somebody give me a thumbs up, please? Thank you. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, so this information session will be focused on trends and opportunities in education and New York City Public Schools. If you are interested in a career in education, this is the right session for you. Participants will learn about teaching opportunities at New York City Public Schools, including recent hiring trends and areas of growth, gain a high-level understanding of the process to become a certified teacher in New York State and applying for a teaching position at New York City Public Schools, and also begin to think about their teaching pathway and where they will have the greatest impact. So let's get started. Okay, I want everyone to write down this website, and I think I put it in the chat, teachnyc.net.
Okay, Casey, I'm on. Just so
you know.
You're
on? Okay, great. Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes, I can. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Okay. I got a question that they can't see the PowerPoint. So yeah, the PowerPoint should be working.
Yep, I'm looking at it. I see our Sergio, and he looks very dapper.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, David and Jaime. All right. So please write teachnyc.net. It is the ultimate resource for all things related to teaching at NYC Public Schools. It's been redesigned to provide great new resources and tools to help you learn about New York City Public Schools and to find the pathway to teaching that's right for you. Okay, so before we begin, if you are logged in on the GoToWebinar app on your phone, you can click on the question mark, which should be on the top right, to ask a question. So you can use the Q&A function to submit feedback, questions, ideas, and more. We'll share what comes in there throughout the session. So we'll try to answer your questions as best as we can. You'll receive a recording of this webinar after it's over. So if you feel like, oh, there's a lot of information, which there will be a lot of information, no worries. You are definitely going to get the recording, and you can play it back as many times as you can, or as you need to. And of course, you can use the camera function on your smartphones to easily open links via the QR codes throughout the webinar. Okay, so my name is Ohasi. I'm a 5th grade teacher in Manhattan. I've been teaching since 1998, so I've been in the system for quite some time. And my colleague Diane is also a teacher and will be facilitating this presentation. So today we're going to start with a brief overview of New York City Public Schools. We'll talk about some recent hiring trends and forecast some opportunities up ahead. We'll then talk briefly about the certification and application processes at the state and city levels, and we'll save some time for next steps and questions, hopefully at the end. In this section, we will provide you the brief overview of New York City Public Schools. We're going to talk about the snapshot of the district, benefits of a career as a New York City Public Schools teacher, and we'll talk about teacher supports and opportunities. Okay, so when you join New York City Public Schools, you join the largest, most dynamic district in the nation, with over 900,000 students who speak over 180 languages and a network of 77,000 fellow teachers. New York City educators have the unique privilege and responsibility to jumpstart the next generation of innovators, leaders, and citizens. New York City Public Schools students represent a wide range of backgrounds, identities, languages, and learning needs. They need teachers who reflect their diversity and are ready to be able to support their learning. Whatever your background, experiences, and skill sets are, There are students in New York City public school classrooms waiting for a teacher just like you. New York City has 1,600 schools that are as diverse as our students, and the distinctive neighborhoods we serve, from neighborhood schools with deep roots in their local community to small thematic schools in the performing arts. There are schools with a focus in STEAM, humanities, and dual language schools. Whatever your interest or passion may be, there is definitely a school for you. You can choose a school that fits your teaching philosophy and engage with a community of like-minded professionals. Within our schools, teachers build personal connections with their students, colleagues, and families to support relationship building and learning outcomes. We will talk later about how to find your fit and navigate the job search process in New York City. 5 New York City public schools are opening in the Bronx and Queens in the fall. We are expanding seat capacity in historically overcrowded neighborhoods and increasing access to District 75 seats closer to students' homes. So that's very, very exciting. And here is our Chancellor Kamar Samuel's vision. And he says, as a lifelong educator who has served our system as a teacher, principal, and superintendent, and as the parent of 2 New York City public school students, I know firsthand that our schools are the heart of our communities. I believe that our students, from early childhood through graduation, deserve schools that are safe, academically rigorous, and truly integrated. They should know that their children are learning the fundamentals, starting with reading, and being challenged academically, guided by high expectations, strong instruction, and teachers who believe in them. And who exactly are we looking for? New York City Public Schools is dedicated to attracting and retaining the very, very best teachers for our schools. We are looking for passionate, collaborative, and committed teachers who reflect the incredible diversity of your student body. We're looking for passionate teachers. Our team of exceptional educators are passionate about educating urban students, truly believing in the power education can make in students' lives. Collaborative. Our teachers thrive on constant learning and collaboration with colleagues. Committed. Our teachers go above and beyond for students, understanding students' challenges and embracing their potential. And of course, diverse. We seek teachers who are as diverse as our students. Help put our students on the path to college, careers, and a lifetime of learning. A teacher's impact extends well beyond the classroom. Teachers impact students' achievement 2 to 3 times more than any other aspect of schooling. Among school-related factors, studies show that teachers matter the most. When it comes to student performance on reading and math tests, teachers have 2 to 3 times the effect of any other school factor, including services, facilities, and even school leadership. Research has shown that a teacher's impact on their own class has what they call the spillover effect for the entire school. When you make an impact on students within your classrooms, those students then go on to raise the level of achievement in their future classes. In a given school year, a teacher can make a huge impact on the students in their class. Students who can read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are significantly less likely to drop out of high school. Graduating from high school is associated with major life benefits, including increased wealth, health, and likelihood of employment. Now, you may be wondering, what are some of the benefits of teaching at a New York City public school? Well, first of all, you are making a difference in the lives of your fellow New Yorkers, maybe even those in your local community. Focus on building a better future. You're using your skills to help develop the nation's next leaders, innovators, and educators. and you will be building relationships with colleagues dedicated to a shared goal. You'd be joining a robust network of over 70,000 teachers. On September 14th, 2026, salaries will start at $71,314 for bachelor's and no experience, and $80,166 with a master's degree and no experience. Teachers' starting salaries may vary based on education and experience. You can also earn additional compensation for teaching after school or summer school programs and for teaching in demanding environments. The Office of Teacher Recruitment and Quality is unable to predict what your starting salary will be based on your experience and educational attainment, regardless of the teaching pathway you choose. You can estimate your starting salary by visiting the UFT's salary schedule. There you can find opportunities. It outlines opportunities for increases based on previous teaching experience, longevity at New York City Public Schools, and educational credits. All teachers begin at the base salary and then apply for salary steps and salary differentials using salary application system after beginning teaching. If eligible for a higher salary due to experience or educational attainment, you must apply for a salary step when you begin teaching full-time at the New York City Public School. You cannot apply before then. If you are a paraprofessional, your years of service do not count toward teaching salary steps. If you are a full-time substitute teacher, your experience does count as full-time teaching, but you need to provide documentation and proof of your full-time substitute employment, your full-time work. And of course, you can scan the QR code for more information on the salary schedule. This slide here shows what your salary would be in the future at New York City Public Schools. If you are currently in your 8th year of teaching with your master's plus your 30 credits and professional development courses, you would be at $106,907. If you have 15 years of teaching at New York City Public Schools with your master's degree plus your 30 credits and professional development courses, you would be making $128,277. Remember, this is using the pay scale for the 2026 school season. So these rates are subject to increase with the yearly raises negotiated on your UFT contract. You can find additional resources regarding salaries on the following web pages, and you can use your phone to scan this QR code, well, these 3 QR codes, or you can wait for the recording and you can do that at a later time. So let's talk about these benefits. So first off, you have a comprehensive health insurance plan, which includes dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Some of these plans require no employment contribution. Then we have the annual retention bonuses that are prorated during your first year and increase each year. Then there is the membership with the UFT, the United Federation of Teachers, enrollment in a pension plan, and New York City Public School employees are eligible for many additional benefits, including commuter benefits, a college savings program, and employee discounts on everything from technology and media to travel and education. In addition, scholarships, financial incentives, and other special programs are available for many employees. And there's also the loan forgiveness program. And you could be eligible as a New York City Public School teacher. New York City Public School employees may also be eligible for the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. This program forgives the remaining balance on your direct loans after you've made the equivalent of 120 qualifying monthly payments under an accepted repayment plan, and while working full-time for an eligible employer. And you can scan that code right there for more information. New teachers in New York City hit the ground running with opportunities, with learning opportunities and professional resources tailored just for them, in addition to the many career development opportunities available to all teachers. We offer robust support for our new teachers in person, online, and in community setting. And these supports include the New Teacher Week. The New Teacher Week is an annual event where new teachers can get inspiration from special guest speakers, learn about key policies, engage with the United Federation of Teachers, the UFT, and network with their fellow teachers. There's also school-based mentoring. New hires with an initial or Trans B license are assigned an experienced and trained mentor teacher to support professional growth throughout the first year. And then there's the First Class newsletter, which is a monthly digital bulletin for first-year teachers that spotlights vetted resources, teaching tips, and answers to common new teacher questions. Teachers in New York City Public Schools, no matter where they are in their careers, also have access to professional development opportunities at their schools, including coaching, professional development days, and after-school learning opportunities. In addition to school-based supports, optional development opportunities are made available by various teams, including New York City Public Schools and the UFT. We also offer digital resources for busy teachers to find resources for their classrooms and regularly stay connected to opportunities to extend their learning and impact. Hear from Victoria and her mentor, David, about how the mentor-mentee relationship helps them both learn and grow. Did you know that all new New York City public school teachers receive mentoring? And we talked about that in the previous slide. So I'm going to play this video.
I was fortunate that my principal let me become her mentor. I feel it makes teaching even more enjoyable because you're responsible to hear out your mentees' ideas, and we get to learn from each other, like our different teaching styles.
Being open to feedback, because at the end of the day, your mentor wants you to be a better teacher. They're not trying to criticize you.
To be a new teacher coming to New York City, it can be intimidating, and to know that you're going to have someone within your academic subject area to support you is something that I think everyone should know that is offered from New York City.
We have a lot of phys ed teachers that were able to collaborate, were able to share ideas to make the experience better for the students. Some students are individual and some do have different triggers. It's nice to ask a veteran teacher, you had this student for 3 years, what did you do that helped this student?
Other people have the same issues. It's not just you. You're not alone on an island. Like, other people are experiencing the same thing. Veteran teachers, rookie teachers.
We're very fortunate here, and being able to just bounce ideas off and learn from what other people are doing is just so great.
Okay, there are also teacher leader opportunities, and some of the responsibilities include leading a laboratory classroom, facilitating professional collaborations, coaching peers and colleagues, and advocating in leadership conversations. And the QR code is there for you to scan if you're interested. And of course, it's important to note that you can earn an additional $20,000 per year. Okay, so we're going to move on to recent hiring trends. We're going to talk about hiring data, high need subject areas, and high need boroughs.
All right, thank you, Ohasi. I really appreciate everything you shared with us, and of course, your wonderful career with the New York City Public Schools. I too am a teacher. I am a career changer. So I started teaching 5 years ago. I got my tenure in 4, and I just graduated on Monday with my school building leadership master's. So I did have my MBA from my prior life, and I got my master's of education, my master's of special ed, and now my master's of school building leadership to pursue, hopefully, assistant principal opportunities and then eventually principal. So we're going to talk about the hiring data. So here we have some of the data for our current school year. 48% that were hired were people of color. 40% of our candidates were hired in the past 2 years. And finally, 23% were certified to teach students with disabilities. So that's pretty, incredible data. And then we're going to share also our high need subject areas. So on the next slide, it's going to let you know all the areas that we want to highlight, because we hire across all certification areas and backgrounds, but we want to highlight the current priorities for the New York City Public School. These priorities obviously can shift from year to year based on the needs of our schools. But if a candidate's not yet certified, or candidates are considering adding an extension of their certification, these are the areas that principals will be hiring and where there's a high demand for more teachers to be certified. So we encourage you to consider one of these areas where teachers are in high demand. And if you have an extension or another certification in one of these areas, it's wise to leverage it in your job prospecting. And I was just on a call before our call I'm also the chapter leader for my school, and we are going to be being compliant with the reduced class size for this coming school year. So we need a lot of teachers in this area, because we're going to be having smaller classes, and with smaller classes, much more needs in these additionally already high subject, high need areas. Our next slide talks about location. So one way you can promote your job search is considering districts, neighborhoods, or schools where your talents are most needed. If you're certified in a high demand subject area, that's especially true. But if you really are determined to work here, you should also think strategically about where you're looking for a position. If you want to go where the jobs are, you may want to consider positions in Bronx and Brooklyn, because this year, 52% of our new hires occurred in just these 2 boroughs. I'm currently in the Rockaways in Rockaway Beach in Queens, but definitely a lot of our hiring for new hires, obviously 52%, is in the Bronx and Brooklyn. So it's important for you to find a school that's right for you, but don't exclude these schools because they're slightly out of your comfort zone or in a different borough from where you live, because almost all of our schools are pretty accessible by public transportation. And, our students need great teachers in all 5 boroughs. The next slide shows us some growing areas. So we talked earlier about high needs areas in our public schools, but in addition to those, there's some areas that we've seen and expect to continue to see a fair bit of extension in the coming years. So we talked about bilingual education, early childhood, and early childhood students with disabilities, and then career and technical education. So these areas, if they interest you, they're definitely growing populations that we need in New York City. And this school year coming up, we're going to be opening up 5 schools, I think Bronx and Queens, and definitely these skill sets are very important for those new locations. On the next slide, we're focusing in on bilingual education. Our largest need is in Spanish, with additional needs of Mandarin, Bengali, and other languages. The increased need for dual and secondary bilingual certification is something you can leverage as well. Sorry, I have allergies. Our New York school is committed to serving all of our students, including asylum seekers and immigrant families. So this is a great opportunity to promote your existing language. Oh boy, it's starting to pour. I'm just going to close my window. Sorry, guys. I'm in the Rockaways. Okay, sorry about that. The largest need is in Spanish, with additional needs in, as we said, Mandarin, Bengali, and other languages. So, for example, to teach science in a bilingual high school classroom would be a great asset. Great asset. Okay, and then our next area is early childhood. So we have a growing need of our pre-K, 3K, 2K. So early childhood education is critical for lifelong learning. And if you're not, certified in those settings, that's something to consider, because that, once again, that's a growing need. And also, if you specialize in early childhood education with students with disabilities, from birth to second grade. So those are very, very helpful. And then obviously we want to support our new learners, right from the start. So the next slide we have, it's actually a map that shows you our various early childhood education, because it's so growing. And the different hand colors, when it says district school, that just means a school in a neighborhood. And then we also have something called a community-based organization, where they're almost like centers. Sorry, it's like pouring here in the Rockaways. Like Rockaway by the ocean, it's like there is no in between. It's either like a monsoon or it's nothing. So sorry about that. I'm just closing windows as we're here. All right, sorry about that. So going back, the studies show that enrollment in early childhood, that if they're prepared academically and socially, they will succeed in elementary school beyond. So that's why New York City has really made it a priority over the last couple of years to keep this in mind. So our pre-K initiative is currently servicing 32 districts, and we're supporting 40,000 students. So early childhood education teacher candidates can work in one of 4 early childhood settings, whether it's a district, a community school, a pre-K center, a charter school, or a community-based organization called a CBO. And you can see the 4 settings on this My Schools map, which is free online, where you can, by the different color hands, you can see, depending on the neighborhood that you live in, what would be good for you if early childhood education interests you. So our next slide is just going over the roles in those schools. So for the early childhood, there's many opportunities. So the left shows for certified teachers. If you're certified or on track to be certified by September 2026, we recommend you completing the New York City Public School application at Teach NYC. When, that if you go on there, obviously you can apply. You can select whether you're interested in teaching at a community-based organization. And once again, that's a CBO. If you say yes, you increase your prospects greatly, because there's a lot more of those in our communities. And once again, this is for very young children, 2, 3-year-olds. But for those of you who are not certified by September and interested in early childhood, you can complete the early childhood teacher finder when it launches, and you can find opportunities to teach in a community-based organization as a lead teacher on a study plan. So what we do is we give you teach full-time, you earn a salary while you're completing your certification. So if you scan that QR code, that's for folks that are not going to be certified by this coming September. There's opportunities for you as well. So, and you can work as long as you're interested in working with our younger students. You get a salary, and you're working for the city of New York, but through these community-based organizations. And they give you 7 years to complete that education. So it's a great opportunity for people who aren't certified who want to teach with us. And then the other major area is, if you're not looking to be a lead teacher, there's assistant teachers, teacher aides. So there's various roles, and that's completely up to your preference. On the next slide, we're looking at our career and technical education. And this is another very, very high potential area that's growing. The career and technical classrooms are industry professionals who want to teach their expertise to our kids. So it's kickstarting students' careers. And that's in technology, healthcare, business. The greatest need right now is in tech and computer science. That's where you'll find most of our career and technical education vacancies. And the career and technical education pathways that don't require prior teaching experience, because they want to capitalize on your actual career experience. The next slide is how you stand out. So if you're thinking about your career pathway, there's a few different ways you can use information that we're sharing tonight. So we encourage you to pursue your teaching certification in a high need subject area and obtain, certification extensions such as bilingual extensions if you're fluent in another language to support our English language learners, or to take advantage of all the job searches offered by New York Public Schools. We host search workshops, networking events, vacancy lists, and much more. My background was completely in finance. I changed from banking and I couldn't be happier. I also work in a District 75 school with special education in the summer. On weekends, I work at a Saturday academy. This year I'm working on Sunday Academy, but last year was Saturday Academy. So there's just so many opportunities for you. You just have to find the right fit. So now I'm going to talk about the application process. So this is kind of the nuts and bolts of how you're to apply. And once again, I apologize. I guess my allergies started before the downpour here in the Rockaways. So I apologize for that. So we're just going to go over how to apply, the timeline, and the deadlines. So, and it's not as complicated as you think. We'll break it down. If you have any questions, we're here. Okay. So New York City teacher certification is a requirement for permanent teaching positions at a public school. So most of our applicants have earned their certification or have it by the time they plan to, full-time teaching. So if you're a teacher in a preparation program or you hold a teaching certificate in another state, you must apply for the New York State certification through nysed.gov. That's nysed.gov. So that's the state. You would submit your New York City teacher application through us, but your certification requirements are all with the state. So it gets a little confusing. You're going to be hired by the city, but all your certification is through the state. So just to be clear on that. And then on the next slide, it's great. The one application you submit is going to give you access to 1,600 schools. So if you're interested in this upcoming school year, you're completing the one application, but it will give you access to a plethora of schools that you can, consider. The action steps are not necessarily in order. So what I mean by that is often we hear, should I wait to be certified before I apply? No, all teacher candidates should absolutely apply before certification. Applying before entitles you to any recommended, or, we don't want you to wait until your certification comes through. That would delay your potential employments, because right now is a very, very hot time. I just got off, like I was saying, our union as teachers. You would be part of the U of T as well. And our governor gives us the budget for our schools. So they're saying the budget will be at the end of June, definitely by July 1st. So you're perfect timing for the funding. Obviously, we know our schools are going to be funded, but we want you to apply now because this is our peak hiring season. So you'll get your teacher certification through the New York State Education Department, but it's important to note once again that they're separate from us. We're the city and they're the state. So that's just a heads up on that. And you can work with your college to office to ensure that you have all the certification requirements, and the state on a rolling basis, you'll get your certification. So it's just easier for you to first apply with us. And then the next slide just breaks down this process so you can see the beginning to end. So you can apply, it has two parts, the profile and then the teacher application. And once they're completed and submitted, they're reviewed by our team. And then after it's reviewed, you'll be entered into our new teacher finder with the city. And that is a job board showing you vacancies across the city, and you can start your process. So let's talk about the actual application that will give you access to see all these jobs. So on the next slide, this is just a screenshot where it says apply today, and it'll show you a drop down for applications. And for the teacher application, you're just going to hit certified teacher application. And for those of you that are interested in that early childhood education with the community-based organizations that maybe you're not going to be certified by September, you can hit the CBO application, CBO. So that's just the first screenshot. And you can get that QR code too, just to have it. So you know where you're going to complete your part 1 and 2. And then these opportunities for graduates who, we also have career changes like myself. So I was with JP Morgan Chase for 17 years as a district manager. I had a family member get sick. I changed to teaching to have more flexibility in my schedule, and I couldn't be happier. So on the next slide, it's just, obviously encouraging people that are in different careers if you're there are opportunities for graduates who aren't currently in a teacher prep program, but are interested in becoming a teacher. And you can just go to the next slide. So if that's the case, we have the New York City Teaching Fellows, which is helps us with the high need subject areas. You get a summer stipend. They subsidize your master's degree, and you start teaching in September of 2027. So that, if you want to learn more about that, that's for career changers as well. And then we have the Empire State Residency. That's 2 years, 30,000 stipend, begin residency in 2027, begin teaching in 2028. So that's another way that you can get involved if you are doing something else and want to get involved. So you can scan that QR code as well. And then we have another resource for you for career changers, and that's on the next slide, Teach NY resources. So everything you need to become a teacher in one place, and all for free. You sign up Teach NY to access, and they give you one-on-one expert advice on group coaching sessions, how to be certified with New York State, information on New York teacher programs and pathways, and how-to guides on resumes, programs. There is a $100 fee, but it's reimbursed when it comes time to apply. And then they also have scholarships and financial aid opportunities. And they also have unique resources for future educators of color. So that's another avenue that for career changers as well. And then in terms of next steps and questions, we have a lot of support for you, because obviously we've gone over a lot tonight. We've inundated you with information. We had a mini monsoon during it, but you can obviously, on the next slide, we have day and night access. So if you scan, I know we're hitting you with a lot of QR codes, but they're very helpful. This will answer anything day or night. We have 100 articles on working at the New York City Public Schools certification onboarding process. We have a help desk for your individual. If you're doing the application and you're uploading a document, say your resume or any certification or letters from your university, we can help you. That's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support system. And there's also hundreds of articles about every stage of the application and hiring process. And there's a contact us button. So any way we can help you, we want to help you. We need good teachers. You're on this call. We appreciate you being on this call. It was a lovely day 2 seconds ago. It seems like the sun's coming back out. So you took an hour out of your day to spend time with us, and we really appreciate it. So on the next slide, we want, people to feel they can stay connected with us. If you need time to kind of process things, you can stay connected with us at the teachnyc.net for any updates. If you want us to email you or text you or both, that's an option as well. So a lot of the teachnyc.net has a lot of good stuff. You can also follow us on social media. On the next slide, we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube. So, we want you to know about us because we're growing and we need great teachers, leaders. I can tell you, working for a Fortune 500 company, to coming over here where you're getting a pension, your health benefits, the power of the union, the diversity of my team, my students, communities. It's just, it's a real win-win. So one opportunity becomes another. Like I said, now I'm looking to become an assistant principal. You're always going to grow when you work for the New York City Public Schools. So we really want you to check us out. On the next slide, we have video recordings of our information sessions and spotlights. So we're also on YouTube. You can watch some of our information sessions as well. The more you know, maybe the more comfortable you'll get.